When people start their fitness journey, getting well-developed abs is usually one of the main goals. I was no different. Looking back, I used to do a ton of crunches in the hopes of getting abs. But I did all of this without putting enough thought into my nutrition. Now, several years later, it has become increasingly clear that the key to getting abs is not how hard you train your abs, but how lean you are. We all have a rectus abdominis and oblique muscles, but you just may not be able to see them yet because of the stored body fat on top of it. So oftentimes the only thing that's separating you from your six-pack is a good fat loss phase that gets rid of the fat on top of your abdominal muscles. With that said, abdominal training still has its use. Like any muscle, you can train your abdominal muscles to grow. This can help your abdominal muscles become more apparent and pop more when you get rid of the stored body fat on top of it. But something to consider with ab training is that you still need progressive overload. Oftentimes people rely on high rep ab exercises like crunches, knee raises, and toe taps to train their abs. These exercises provide a good burn and tend to be a good starting point if you are new to ab training, but they do not allow for consistent progressive overload. If you constantly do 20 rep flutter kicks, you can't expect continuous growth from this. So to help you consistently overload your abs, today I'm going to show you 3 weighted ab exercises that you can use in your workouts. These are 3 exercises I've used with many of my online coaching clients over the years and they have worked really well. The first exercise is the cable ab pull-down. This exercise trains spinal flexion, which is the main function of your rectus abdominis, also known as the six-pack muscle many people desire to showcase. The movement is quite similar to a regular crunch, but then with a better resistance curve. When your abs are extended, they still have to resist the weight from the cable. In this exercise, you want to focus on extending and flexing your spine to train the rectus abdominis through a full range of motion. This may sound counterintuitive since we are taught to keep a neutral spine during most exercises. But in this case, training spinal flexion is actually desired and perfectly safe if you have no pre-existing back issues. There are 2 cues I like to focus on during this exercise. The first cue is to try to bring your shoulders back to your knees while keeping your hips stationary. The second cue is to breathe out forcefully when you lower the weight down, since this allows for a better contraction. Releasing the air in your stomach will allow you to flex down a bit further. In terms of reps and sets, I suggest you go for around 3 to 4 sets with 10 to 15 reps when you perform this exercise. The second exercise is the cable woodchop. This is a great exercise that trains trunk rotation, which helps you develop your obliques. But next to more developed obliques, this is also a great functional exercise. In many strength training programs, the rotational movement pattern gets neglected. Directly training upper body rotation can help prevent muscle imbalances. Training rotation is also useful for many sports since you often need to produce rotational force during competition or training. Since the cable woodchop is a weighted ab exercise, it'll allow you to consistently improve your rotational strength and further develop your obliques. In terms of how to perform this exercise, set the cable at around chest height and take a big step away from the cable. While keeping your hips mostly stable, rotate your upper body towards the cable machine and come right back to the other side. Try not to overly rotate back to prevent tension loss. You can also set the cable higher or lower to train rotation in a slightly different way. These variations all train your obliques, so feel free to experiment with different cable heights. As with the ab pull down, I'd suggest you perform 3 to 4 sets of the cable woodchop with 10 to 15 reps after one of your weekly training sessions. The third and last exercise is weighted planks. Planks are another good example of an exercise that many people use without consistently making progress on them. But with the help of a partner, you can quite easily overload the plank by adding a plate on your back. If you would like to focus more on your obliques, you can even do weighted side planks. These are a bit easier to load since you can just place a dumbbell around your hips and hold the plank position. Although they're pretty tough, as you can see in the video. The main reason I like doing planks is that it can also transfer to better performance in many of your compound lifts. For instance, during a compound exercise like the overhead press, your abs also need to resist spine extension as in a plank. So becoming stronger at planks can help you become more stable during the performance of several compound exercises. With the plank, I would aim for 3 to 4 sets of around 15 to 20 seconds. Once you can plank for longer than 20 seconds, it's time to increase the weight. If for some reason you do not like doing planks, there's also an alternative anti-extension exercise that you can make use of, the ab wheel rollout. The goal here is to maintain the plank position while you roll the device forward. A way to progress this exercise is by performing elevated ab wheel rollouts and doing more reps. But these are the 3 exercises I suggest you try in your training. The way you can structure these exercises is by doing one after each of your training days. This will allow you to train your abdominal muscles more frequently, which may help develop them more quickly. But again, let's not forget that all of this training is useless for getting a six-pack if you do not lose the fat on top of your abs. I'll leave some fat loss sources from my website in the description below so I can help you out on that front as well. And that's all for this video. I want to thank you again for all of the support you've shown me so far on my YouTube channel. Like and subscribe if you've liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one.